It's Mark Laughlin speaking for the Ambidextrous Gunfighter. Do a little review on what is probably my favorite minimalist inside the waistband holster, the Desantis Slim-Tuk. Now, what makes it really cool is that they are actually using a very thin Kydex. I think it's a 0.06 of an inch Kydex, so it's very thin. That helps reduce the overall bulk compared to like this. Here's inside the waistband holster for the Walther PPQ, which is using Kydex. It's about twice as thick, which translates to about 1/8 of an inch more overall thickness that you've got to get inside your waistband than you will with the Desantis Slim-Tuk. Now, you might think that you need a thicker Kydex for strength or whatever, but you gotta keep in mind that this is holstered in and that's plenty strong enough. And then once it's inside your waistband, inside your pants, your belts, it's actually being clamped down by your clothing. So it doesn't require as much strength as if this was hanging off the side as an outside the waistband holster. Another thing I like is that the Desantis, they don't include a claw, and here's a holster with a claw. And I am not a fan of the claw. I think it just adds a bunch of extra bulk in your pants. And who really needs more bulk in their pants? It makes donning and removing the holster a snaggy hassle. So for inside the waistband carry, every 1/8 of an inch of thickness is definitely noticeable. So anything you can do to reduce that bulk is important. Now, some other features I like about the Desantis is it provides exceptional trigger coverage. You see here the trigger is completely covered. There's no way that anything can get down in there and engage your trigger. Then also it is wrapped really nicely around the trigger guard, as well as wrapped around the muzzle area too. And it is optics ready. It's cut away in such a way that it's optics ready for any pistol that can support an RMR, and it is even optics ready for those that do not support an RMR. Although you can get, for those of you who want to put a RMR on your pistol and you don't have the cutout, Meprolite makes it's basically a dovetailed RMR. And it's actually includes a conventional sight with the RMR plate on it as well. So that's an option for those of you who don't want to go have your slide milled. Now, here's on this example, this is inside the waistband holster. You can see we got a really tall sweat guard. Now these Desantis holsters, they're basically perfectly mirrored left and right, and that's because they're ambidextrous. You can actually take this belt hanger and move it to the other side. So this one here is set up for left-handed carry, but you can move that to the other side for right-handed carry. Now, one of our testers noticed that when carrying with a SIG P365, and he had to with the Desantis Slim-Tuk comes with an adjustable Cant system, which actually makes this stick out quite a bit higher. I actually remove those, get rid of that, and that lets this belt hanger sit closer against the holster and kind of in behind the main body of the holster. So that helps draw the belt down over here and helps give you a little bit of that effect of the claw without the bulk of the claw. It does, of course, reduce your ability to give you that extra cant you want. And I've got the holes oblonged out or ovaled out a bit so that I can get about probably 8 degrees of cant there, maybe. Now, anyway, one of our testers noticed that on the SIG P365, when inside the waistband carry, he was getting occasionally a little bit of a pinch against his skin right there on this 365. Now, we did not try. We could probably take a heat gun and maybe press it down a little bit more and eliminate that. I've not ever had that, but I do typically wear a either a t-shirt underneath behind the holster, or I actually kind of wear it as a open carry, but with my shirt tucked in behind it. I've also do where if I want to have it concealed carry inside just a single overshirt, then I can pull my underwear up, which sounds kind of weird, but you can pull your underwear up high enough, if it's stretchy, to where it gets it up and provides you a little bit of a buffer between your body and the pistol and holster. Now, if you do, like I do, if you do remove this whole adjustable cant system that comes with the Desantis, that saves you almost probably 3/8, maybe half an inch of elevation there, of bulk. And that does require that you get either cut the stock screws shorter or get replacement screws to make up for the fact that there's a lot less bulk there. It'd be nice if the shorter screws were included with the holster to give you that option of easily removing that cant system. And but you can get those screws at any local hardware store. Now, I do drill out the mounting holes on the belt hanger, because I do want to shift it, or actually position it so that you see the belt hanger is a really nice little dog leg. Let me show you on this other holster here. This is the one for the Hellcat. You can see the dog leg in the holster, in this belt hanger. That helps it clear the trigger cover, trigger guard. And so you want that positioned such that you can get that, that dog leg to just clear that trigger guard, and then that usually leaves you with some excess here, which I've cut and round off on this particular holster for the MC1SC. And that makes it, much easier to don and remove. Now these belt hangers are pretty stout and pretty thick, and they definitely want to stay on your belt. They're kind of hard to get on and off. On my do-it-yourself holster for the P17, the belt hangers I use for that, they're probably cheaper versions. They're not quite as thick, but they are more flexible, which makes them a lot easier to get this holster on and off. Now, one thing to keep in mind is the fact that these holsters, some holsters try to protect your magazine button by covering that. And in my opinion, that usually just means that provides more area that can be depressed and then cause an accidental disengagement of the magazine. So I actually like what you might call a fence approach, where they basically cut the holster to clear around the magazine release, and that provides that fence or protection against it a little bit. Of course, the real solution would be to have a paddle magazine release on your pistol, and then that way, when the holster covers the trigger guard, it can cover those paddles as well and absolutely prevent an accidental disengagement of the magazine. That would be the ideal solution. Also, notice on this P17 holster how we've got the kind of the channel there that accommodates the manual safety, but only when it's on the safe position. So that helps kind of secure the safety so that it can't come off while it's in your holster. So it's kind of additional way of keeping that, making sure the safety doesn't get accidentally disengaged. Additional benefit of the paddle magazine release is that it's fully ambidextrous, and it allows for a firm grip on the pistol while you're dropping a pinch operation to drop the magazine, so you maintain a firm grip on the pistol while you do that. Now, I rarely carry an extra magazine, so those features are not nearly as important to me as the feature of preventing accidental disengagement of the magazine. And that's, to me, one of the big downfalls of the button magazine release is that it's easy for you to bump into something and end up with your magazine setting just like that, which is not an ideal situation for you. Now these Desantis Slim-Tuk holsters are very lightweight. It's a lightweight inside the waistband combined with these, you know, all these modern micro 9s like the P365 or the Hellcat or the MC1SC or the MC2C, and makes for a setup that comfortably works with conventional belts. So it does not necessarily require a gun belt like a heavier pistol would, like for example the Walther PPQ with this setup. This is a pretty thick setup, and it's also a pretty heavy setup. Now one of our testers, like myself, did like the Slim-Tuk holsters, but he does prefer the belly band carry since he doesn't like to wear a belt at all. But he did notice that the Slim-Tuk worked very well when paired with this SIG P365 XL, which he has fitted with the standard slide and barrel for appendix carry. Although, like I said, he favors the belly band method because he doesn't wear a belt, but he did say that he did like this holster as well. Now, being narrow in width as compared to like these holsters here that are much wider, and especially when you add that claw, being narrow in width means that this is going to fit better into as an appendix carry. It's not going to dig into your upper thighs when you're seated. It's going to be you know, just less bulky than most other holster systems. Now the belt hanger to don the holster is on the Desantis is kind of stiff, and it resists removal from the belt. It is a bit thick. It could be thinner to reduce, you know, the external bulk just a little bit. So it'd be a little bit less obtrusive. And on the Hellcat, it does interfere sometimes with the magazine release if you have it on the same side as your belt hanger. In fact, one time it even disengaged my magazine and lost the magazine, including, you know, a magazine full of critical defense ammunition. Now I do like these drop kind of holster or belt hangers. One thing is you could put this inside the waistband and then even tuck your shirt down here in behind that drop, that holster hanger. I like those better than this style of hanger or belt hanger. This style makes everything a lot thicker than it needs to be. It makes it almost 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch more girth than this style hanger, especially when I've got it set down with that Cant system. Now these holsters are ambidextrous, and once you're an ambidextrous shooter, I recommend left-hand carry and primary presentation left-handed. And for most people, the right hand is more likely to be injured in the initial fighting, and then also that leaves you free to ride a motorcycle and draw your weapon. And if you're law enforcement, that puts you at a better angle when you're doing a traffic stop on the driver's side of the vehicle. Now these holsters are extremely affordable, and unfortunately I didn't make one for the Kel-Tec P17, so I did have to make my own. I have a video about how I did that included down in the description. And I mean, mine, it works fine, but I really would like to see Desantis make a version of this holster, the Slim-Tuk holster, for the Kel-Tec P17. And then compared to again, I did modifications to this Dara holster, which for the Walther PPQ, and cut these out so that trying to reduce the girth of it a bit. I cut those slots out for the slide releases, where before it had a ridge there, a gap on each side, and that made the girth quite a bit more. So I tried to thin that out more. It's still just, the pistol's just too thick, and this holster is just too thick for inside the waistband carry. So I regard the Desantis Slim-Tuk as an exceptional value, an exceptionally well-designed holster for inside the waistband carry. It's at an exceptional price point, which that really boosts its overall value. You can find these for anywhere from $20 to $30 compared to, say, $120 is what I charge for a P17 holster for them. So, and my holster is certainly less elegant and more cottage industry looking than the Desantis Slim-Tuk. So come on, Desantis, make a Slim-Tuk for the P17. Many of these models are available on Amazon with free Prime shipping. Now, besides the Slim-Tuk holsters, we also have the Desantis. It's an outside the waistband holster, which is a really nice range day holster. It's safer to reholster your pistol in an outside the waistband than inside the waistband, and yet it feels kind of similar when drawing from this to the inside the waistband. So I look at this as a pretty good practice holster. It has a sturdy, kind of thick leather combination felty material on the backside, which, you know, you see some inside the waistband holsters that have the backs that are similar to that, and I just don't like that. It just adds a lot of extra bulk that you have to get inside your pants, and I just want to keep that bulk to a minimum. But this is great for open carry or under a heavy outer garment for concealed carry. So anyway, I highly recommend the Desantis Slim-Tuk. I do recommend doing what I've done, is eliminate that adjustable system and get this a little bit snugged up tighter. It does take a little bit of modification on your part, but it's well worth the effort, in my opinion. And even if you do keep the adjustable Cant system, it's still a great holster. You just cannot beat it for $20 to $30 for a holster. I see no reason for going with any other inside the waistband holster, especially given the price. It's Mark Laughlin speaking for the Ambidextrous Gunfighter. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.